is I'm going to start refining. You can see my shape horizontally. The vertical shape is nice and consistent and fluid with no weight line. What I've done here is I've just done a tiny little bit of refining before Kelly stopped me and said, "Hang on, what are you doing? We need to get back to live." And what I'm going to do is, guys, these pieces here, very quickly, that we put in when we came our horizontal section to the side, are part of a guideline now to connecting our triangular outline into the length at the front. So let's get started, okay? A little bit about the scissors first. My scissors, I'm going to be using just the very, very tip of my scissor, okay? I'm going to be resting them on my free hand like this. And the idea is I'm going to go straight in and I'm creating a curve. So the real benefit of refining like this, so this chipping technique, is I can create a curved line. The chipping motion also helps me to collapse the line. So when I come around here now and I move it over, what you'll notice is that I'm starting to get more connected into the guideline, which I cut in when the hair was wet. As I come around here, you'll notice that we start to connect in.
What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Your end goal? How are you keeping it consistent?
So there's a few things really. Like firstly now, when I came
okay,
this...
wait, I got that a little too choppy.
Well, I think I look for a rough copy of the line first. So I look for it to be roughly done first, and then I'll go in and I will cut underneath the line initially. So I'm after a curve, guys. That's really what I'm after here. And as I go underneath my line, like this, I start to really collapse the line as well. I start to get a much more sharper shape to it. Now you have to be patient with this, guys. This takes a little bit of time, okay? So this isn't something that you can just do really, really quickly. But you see, I start to get a beautiful curved line through there. Now, we've established that we were checking the line underneath first. Then we check it from above. And we're going with the scissors at a very slight angle. And it'll just start to help to bevel that line slightly under and make it less square. Now what I'm going to do is come to the sides just slightly here, guys. As I comb this down, we can start to clearly see now that there's my guideline.
What's the importance, I mean, I know the answer, but what's the importance of having like the most sharpest scissors at this point?
So the scissors I have, the tip of the blade is really small. So just watch me, there's a little bit there to take off, guys. You can see it there in the video. When I got this really small scissors, it's very accurate to take away 1 millimeter of hair. So having your scissors really sharp, really well serviced, makes life easy to take away the smallest amounts of hair. I think you can grab any pair of scissors off the shelf and you could cut a lot of hair off with them, couldn't you? But to really remove those real precise, tiny pieces of hair, guys, I think that really is where the scissors really do come into their own.
And a smaller pair.
Well, you're closer to your line, aren't you, Kelly? So if you look now, like, imagine trying to draw a line by holding the pencil at the tip of the pencil. You know, I'm literally like so close to the line that I'm cutting in.
We want to say hello to our audience tuning in.
Hey guys.
Tony Sadiq is back. Our long-term friend Nick Guinness is watching. Hey Nick.
Hi Nick. How you doing, guys?
It's just me. Gerard is on a flight. So tell me again a little bit more about cutting underneath versus cutting.
Sure. You check your line in 3 ways, Kelly, okay? So the idea is I check my line underneath, which is what I'm kind of just doing here. That is about seeing what is underneath the line. That helps to collapse the line. All these little triangles that we're cutting in here. So now you see your angle there with your phone, you can see it's above the line.
Now
so
we're above it.
Yes, now I'm checking above the line. So you'll see I start coming through and just creating a very, very slight bevel to my line. And coming in, then I'll go underneath the line again. And I mix the two up between them, really. And the idea is that it helps just to stop the line. Because, I mean, you're not gonna sit like this the whole time and check your line through. So you check it underneath, which helps to get fluidity and helps to collapse the line. You check above to remove the sort of bulbous sections, which helps to round or slightly graduate the line in. And then what else you'll check is, you'll check it from a distance, guys. Now check it from a distance, which we don't have a mirror here, but if you use a mirror on the salon floor, guys, that is what I mean. And the mirror helps you to check the proportions of your line, your front to back. You're checking it in terms of, does it look balanced? Because when you're looking at it from this point of view, guys, you're looking at it from the millimeters. But when you check it from a distance, I use the analogy of hanging a mirror. I say, when you hang a mirror, you don't just stand in front of it once you've hung it and assess whether or not it's straight. You would hang the mirror and move and assess it. Now, that is a rough copy, guys. We're going to get it a little bit neater than that in a moment. But now I'll come to here. So you see, Naughty Ben, I actually did start this a little bit before we went back on. But you'll see, like, by doing that, because I'm left-handed, guys, so the other side I went from my left to my right, which was absolutely fine. Now what you'll notice is, if I did that here, I'd find it difficult to get that line in.
Your cutting hand would almost get in the way.
It would, okay, exactly. So now when I come around here, I'm able to come round and get it to meet. Rough copy, guys, rough copy, okay?
The first pass is just kind of meeting point A to point B.
Exactly. So all I've done here is, and a really rough copy is, that my curve is relatively to the same height. That's really all we're trying to achieve at the moment. Then I'm going to go through it, like I did the other side, and really get a lot more detail in. So if I just move it so you guys can see it a little bit more clearly.
So now that you got the height of the curves are the same.
Yeah. Well, it's now the same thing again, Kelly, going underneath the line. Because you'll see here, if you're looking close here, guys, there's a lot of imperfections in here. You can see all that? We're not hiding anything from you. Really, and this is where we go underneath. This ain't going to be done in one go, guys. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of patience. You go underneath the line and you start to really refine and collapse the line. Then we can go above the line. So if we go a little bit higher, you'll see there's all these other imperfections that have suddenly come out of nowhere. Okay, and then I tilt my scissors very slightly here, guys, to create a slight bevel to my line.
Is it normal or standard for you to go in that method, go below the line, above the line, below the line, above the line?
I actually learnt that from James Mould and Ben from 3 Education.
Okay, because those guys are amazing.
Yeah, I actually learned that from them, from their online education. I've been a subscriber to them for a couple of years.
Fantastic. We encourage everybody to.
And I literally learnt that from them. They was explaining about going underneath the line and then they're going above the line. And then they look from a distance.
Miriam, yes, we did save the first video, and it was the complete wet cut. And we broke, so Ben can do the blow dry and the flat iron.
We just didn't think you guys would like to watch me wrap drying. So I don't think I like watching me wrap dry. So
now here we are with part 2 with the refining. And Ben, wonderful. The audience is sending all the love. They're loving it.
Thank you, guys. It's a huge honour for me to be doing this today.
Gemma from Scotland is here with us.
Hey, Gemma.
From Quebec as well. Maria's in love. Tony.
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Hello from Brazil. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the refining segment or triangular graduation. So it's just a matter of going back and forth.
It's a little bit boring to the non-enthusiast, this, Kelly, but you see...
Well, we don't have anybody... No, we're all enthusiastic here. Yes.
I learned this from Mazel and Palmer. I would spray, lightly mist. Even if it was a salon client, guys, just lightly misting it gives you a little bit more control. Okay?
What is that, just like a type of shine spray?
Yeah, this is just literally a compressed air fix spray. So just like as long as it's not too firm hold, you should be fine. But I did learn that from Jean-Baptiste Mazzella.
Just the light hairspray.
See, look, you see there, look, that's given me a bit more. I can see what needs to come off more because the hair's not moving as much as it was before. So it's a little bit of a light spray. When I get the clippers out, or the razor, whatever we're calling them as well, just to show you another way of doing it. But this is the point we got when it was wet, guys. Our internal shape needs no refining. You see that? It's nice and soft. When we look at it now from like the side angle here, you can see that yes, a little bit more work to do my refining, but you can kind of get the idea of why you work on a curve around the neck. It accentuates this beautiful graduated shape we have. Now I put a clip in, guys. I put a no mark clip in to hold the hair, generally how the client wears their hair. If you refine it and the hair is all falling forward, the chances are you can actually make it too short.
So we have a comment coming in from Melody. She's a lefty, but cut right hands with right-handed too. Thank you for the tips.
Welcome.
We get this so much at the HP Pro Shop. Where are the lefty scissors? But to be honest, it's been our experience.
Right-handed scissors.
It's been our experience that a lot of lefties. Why is that? Is that because there's more options on a righty?
To be honest with you, I just found that in the price of left-handed scissors was unrealistic in comparison to right-handed scissors. So I've always had left-handed scissors, right-handed scissors.
Do you augment your right-handed scissors in any way to make them?
No, not at all.
Then
I genuinely.
I've heard some people flip them. Some people you just use right-handed scissor.
So the only thing is,
it's the way you hold it.
When you do scissor no comb as a left-handed hairdresser using a right-handed shear, you'll notice that the blade that is closest to the skin is not moving.
Right.
Whereas if you're right-handed and using these, so if I just switch my grip, it's not. That blade is moving closest to the skin. So that was just one advantage I found because I was using a right-handed shear in my left hand. But to be honest with you, I've never even owned a left-handed shear. So I'm just using the Sassoon little refiners. So they're not even a really strong refiner, but just a few tips again, picking up from other great hairdressers. This is about, once you've got your line in, you shouldn't be using the clippers or shears, guys, to create your line, okay? I'm not suggesting you do that, okay? I never ever teach clippers when I do a salon session. I try to work with the scissors, but to show you some tricks and tips for the salon floor, this will help you. We're going to go in, guys. So if I move out the way slightly, just very gently dressing that in. And what that's doing is, it's sort of refining and collapsing the line. You wouldn't go in, guys, and go...
You see, I can't even see the hairs that you're taking off.
No, it's very, very minimal. But you'll see the difference in how that sits. So you shouldn't... My advice would be, like, I'm not a massive fan in using clippers to take off a lot of hair. That's a personal thing.
But a great hairdresser knows how to use all tools.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I think you've got to be able to use them. And on the salon floor, if I was running really, really far behind, I would turn to my shears and clippers, or razor, to
get the job done.
But only when I'd achieved this type of work first with my scissors.
So generally it seems like you put in a solid shape wet, kept it real classic in style.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the kind of thing like that. Look, you'll see here, if I move out the way, and do that, these are not sharp. You see that, guys? It's very, very minimal. It's not doing any damage. This is why these are good. If I had a pair of detailers, I probably would have ruined it by now. But I just go in, and I bevel my line in slightly.
So the clipper choice is huge.
Yeah,
for this.
I use this clipper. It's the Sassoon little trimmer because of the fact it's so blunt. It's not very sharp, right? And it's just really used for removing very fine hairs. But I use it to help me just get that line in slightly. Now, if I turn it around, let's just assess this side. So this side hasn't been clippered. You see? You can see a slight difference. So if I just showed you that this is the side that hasn't been clippered, the line is balanced, but it needs a little bit more work. And that's the one that has. You can kind of see it's a very subtle effect. So if you're using a really strong pair of detailers...
It's a difference between good and great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is, really. And I've always been kind of, not against, but I've always tried to just use everything with my scissors. Cameron and I were discussing this earlier in the car on the way here. Because we've always been, oh no, you can do it with your scissors. And you can, but it just takes a lot longer. So sometimes that little bit with those clippers at the end is like you saw the difference between it looking really great and looking spectacular.
So the aim is just to take off the first 1 or 2 layers of
very, very slight. So when we do this here, look, you can really see that this section now in comparison to that one is slightly less weighty.
And obviously the key here is tension or pressure.
Yeah, I would say it's the angle as well. So it's like a scoop of ice cream, guys. Like a scoop of ice cream, like you're scooping in. You're not going in, you're not digging for gold. It's a little gentle scoop. And, you shouldn't really need to use them in a really excessive way. The technique, like this haircut was not invented by me, obviously. It was here before me, and it'll be here after me. But if you get the technique down, the applications to this haircut are really, really high. There's loads of different ways you can use it. And as what Kelly's showing you now, guys, is the haircut was really getting there now. We're getting ourselves some really good balance in. And if we come down here and just check slightly, you see I've got my balance. So if I just use a little bit of my hairspray again, like even if I was doing a client, I would do this, guys. That's the first time you've checked the balance. Exactly, the first time I checked the balance, yeah.
Now I noticed...
People, what it is, so sorry Kelly, people can obsess with the balance, right? And you haven't got the whole haircut in. I get it, you need to check it always, but if you're over checking it and taking a bit more off and taking a bit more off and taking a bit more off, sometimes the haircut's totally different than what you set out to do. I would say, get the bulk of your shape in. Obviously, make sure you got the technique down first. Yes, cross-check. Yes, ensure that you've got it right, but don't obsess over those things at that point. If you're cutting a one-length bob, obsess over it. If you're cutting a haircut where the outline or whatever is dependent, but this is an outline we established when the hair was dry. So at that point, it wasn't the essential aspect, was not that. The essential aspect was my vertical shape and my build-up of weight being fluid. Those were the things that...
So the refining here is only just the detailing...
It's the toner. Mm-hmm. It's the toner to the bleach. You know, that's what it is. We have to... we're toned. My outline is now pretty much toned.
You're not going through the entire haircut and removing anything. You're just removing the outline. Looks beautiful.
When I comb down like this...
It's got movement.
It's got it all going on, okay? So it's got it all happening. And if I was to lift this off, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a slight move, you'll see that we do have a very fluid shape. And we haven't had to go through this with huge amounts of texturizing. And that isn't down to the individual being good at the haircut. It's actually down to the technique being great. If you learn this and practice it, and that you understand it and develop it, the haircut works fine. It doesn't always rely on you being a certain talent or a certain whatever. It relies on the amount of practice you're going to put in.
I noticed when you started refining, you really you brought the mannequin up very high.
You need to be eye level, really.
So whether you have the client or your guest stand, or you pump up the chair all the way.
Yeah, you get a stool. So if you're like this now, you're only checking above the line. So if I was on a stool, I'm still only checking above the line. So I sometimes would advise that you either pump your chair up on the salon floor. Occasionally I've had a client stand on a natural fall, just with their shoulders relaxed, looking into neutral. I call it neutral, and the head is straight up. And everything's refined to natural fall. If it's refined to a natural fall finish, you know, when they dry it, it's not dependent on a product, it's not dependent on a tool. You've already done it.
So, the haircut is the style, is what we like to say on Hairbrain every once in a while. Awesome, Ben. So what are your thoughts now, your finishing thoughts? How do you know when you're done? I mean, I know that you can refine for hours.
The mirror is your best friend on the salon floor. What you're looking for, guys, is fluidity. You're looking for your internal shape to have symmetry and smoothness, right? So what we're looking for is all these shapes here to have no weight line. When you comb through, you don't want to see a line formed, okay? You want to see it move really, really soft.
So now when the wind blows, when she gets in and out of the car...
So it's not dependent on her straightening it, okay? Now also, when we've got this done, we've obviously dependent on... Let's just take away our clips. And it's basically like the reason I refine with my clips in, these are low tension clips, that you get them anywhere. But essentially, I use them to make sure that I'm holding the hair out the client's face. If I pulled it down and refined it, when you pull it back, it can almost look quite layered on the line. So if I was to comb that down, refine it here, that's not how I'm going to wear it. When it's then pulled out the way and worn in, you'll notice that you get a more softer effect to the line than being stronger.
Yeah, because her hair won't live in her front of her face.
No, but do check your line after you take it out. So if we just have a quick look, guys. Just go over.
Just grabbing those few little, sharpening up the line just a little bit.
Just check it over. Don't assume anything. Just go over, double check, triple check, and then check one more time.
Awesome, awesome. I'd like to thank Ben for coming all this way from the UK with Cameron as well. I want to thank everybody, our production team, and don't forget Thomas over here. Thanks, Ben. Thanks. Happy learning with us.
Thanks so much.
We'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in.